You're listening to the Slapstick Hockey Podcast,
your premier amateur hockey podcast.
Which explains a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the inaugural broadcast of Slapstick Hockey. Joining us tonight is our creator, Nate Harbor, and the voices and faces of some of the most wonderful guys in the world, Landon King Dixon.
Hey, folks, I'm so happy to be here. Let me tell you something. You can't see me because I live in a dark cave. I'm a troglodyte person, but my voice is going to be as sultry as the day is long, and I'm happy to be here with Guy Schaefer.
And Jacob Murphy is here as well.
Good to be here, and Landon, we missed seeing you on camera tonight, but we love to have you here, so it's good to have you. And good to see Nate with his dad's sweater,
Yeah.
Oh, that's very true.
The dad style hat too. So
What is the hat? I'm curious about
It's
that.
it stands for North Alabama. It's one of
Stands for non-alcoholic. It's just he's doing dry January, and he's one of those like very
actually
pretentious
drinking,
people. You know?
some red wine out of a mason jar.
About as redneck alcoholic as it gets.
Well, we have four people here with us today, but we are missing one, Mr. Joe.
That's
right,
right, Joe Sanderson.
Who knows where he is right now? I think he was in Dallas last time I talked to him. He's watching that new hockey show. Have you guys heard about the new HBO hockey show?
No, I don't think I have. Do you have a soft bit? You're not talking about Shoresy, are you?
No. What do you know what it's called, Murph? I gotta look it up. It's
Heated Rivalry, I have not.
Heated Rivalry, guys. He's like doing an episodic review on his Instagram. So if you guys want to check that out, it's at It's Awesome Joey. But he's going through episode by episode, bless him, to review this show. Do you guys know anything about it at all? I'm just curious.
I know that it's called Rivalry.
I know the name's pretty bad.
Apparently it's so it's HBO, so you can imagine, they can kind of do whatever they want, but my understanding is it's two hockey players on rival teams that find out they have an interesting connection with each other, and I think they end up hooking up, and their relationship blossoms, and probably there are some complications that go along with being on rival teams and hooking up
Wait
with
a minute.
hotels.
It's two dudes hooking up?
Yes, guy.
Nice. We can go ahead and cut this part out. I think.
I would not.
I think we just go ahead and cut this.
Guy's really excited that he's writing it down right now. He wants to.
He's going to the first episode.
Well, let me ask you this: is this like well reviewed, Nate? Is this like supposed to be like the new hip thing, or is this just like? Oh, okay.
It's very trendy. It's like very trendy right now in hockey. I've seen lots. I actually saw about it first, not from Joe, but just from people making like Instagram reels and TikToks talking about having watched it. So
I think it's a book.
It was.
I think it is a book. Yeah.
Oh, I've read that book then. Oh yeah, no, I do like that one.
Late night smut.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm a bit of for the audience for Nate, because he's the only one that's actually going to listen to this because he's going to have to edit it. Yeah, I'm a big smut guy. Like I'm like big into all that stuff.
Hey, Landon.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for the pitch session, right? As the young guys, okay, take Brokeback Mountain, put it on ice. You got it.
I love it. I mean, I'll be honest with you, that's not a bad elevator pitch for an HBO show these days, and I'm here for it. I do think that we have an interesting group as far as like perspectives go for the sport of hockey, because I am obviously like a huge novice. Guy's Canadian, so it's like in his blood. And you and Murph both play beer league and have played hockey for like a hot minute. So I do think we have a good diverse group of opinions. But I'm gonna pause right here. I think I'm gonna go grab a non-alcoholic beverage. I will be right back.
Nice. You definitely do. The only thing I guess we don't really have is like an expert, someone who's played at a high level. Because Landon's just started, and none of us have played any type of professional. I guess Joe has played like a pretty low level professional. I guess he's not here to help us with that, but yeah, we've got an interesting crew. Murph, what's your hockey history? When did you first realize that this was the sport you wanted to, do a deep dive into?
He was the video. He was the video replay guy in Tampa, so he's been with professionals.
It was true. Went to my first Lightning game when I was 7 for my birthday. They played the Buffalo Sabres that day. They lost 5-3. I remember in April. They were terrible that year too. And then after that, I started watching all the games the following October. And my mom made us go to bed by like 8 o'clock. So what kind of got me into broadcasting was my dad gave me his old handheld radio, and so I could listen to the games while in bed without and stay up. And so Dave Mishkin, who was the radio guy then, still is now. I listened to all the games after the first period on a little hand radio that I still have at my parents' house. And
That's cool.
so that's kind of what got me into it. And then they had a deep run in the playoffs that year. They lost to Philadelphia in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then they won the Stanley Cup the following year in 2004. And after that, I was pretty hooked for life, I would say.
Which is pretty crazy to think that an expansion team, and of all states, Florida, wins the Stanley Cup in less than what? How many years were they in the league? Less than 10, I think.
Yeah, I think they started around, 92, 93 era. So, they won it within the first 10 to 15 years. And they used to be terrible.
Crazy.
They got Tortorella, loved him. LeCavier, St. Louis, Brad Richards, that whole team. So, that's probably what got me into it.
Vincent was
Florida's got like 3 championships across the state now, right? 3 or 4?
Yeah, Tampa's got 3, and Florida has 2, so 5.
Yeah, 5. Wow, yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Nashville, still none. That's my team.
Hopefully never.
Never, gee.
First of all, Jacob, how dare you? How dare you sit here and talk to us like that? Talk to us from your high horse.
Yeah.
Coming from a state that actually has productive professional teams. How dare you? I'm stuck with the Titans and the Preds
Yeah.
and the Grizzlies. Preds roster.
forgot
While
about
you were
them.
going to get your drink, we were talking about like how we first got introduced to hockey. So I'd love to hear your story on that.
Well, I graduated from college in 2015, and up until that point, I played basketball and soccer for my entire life. I played soccer in college as well. So I was kind of like headlong into basketball. Professional basketball was a little bit rough for me to watch, but I was a big college basketball guy. University of Kentucky was my team. I was grandfathered in from that. So I've always loved sports, but hockey was just a sport that was completely inaccessible for somebody like me, like growing up in East Tennessee. So there's just no way that I would know a bunch of people that were into it. One of my best friends, Jake Renfro, he would watch it all the time, and we would talk about it, and I would watch it at his house. But there was just no way that hockey would be playing when I was a kid. And I would have loved to play it, but it wouldn't have been a thing that I could do. And then I moved to Nashville and went to a couple Preds games. I think with you, Nate, was the first Preds game that I actually went to. And I think it took one live game of going to one, and I was hooked. It's so fun. And they had that playoff run. I don't remember where it was, but I do remember like some of the best sports watching opportunities was me going down when they had their series, and I was just, bar hopping, and just sort of how the whole city came alive to support them was pretty cool. So I think that's how. And then playing beer hockey with you, Nate. I had skated I think I had actually skated 3 times in my life before you were like, dude, it'll be easy. You'll pick it up quick. Just hop on.
Well, I think
And,
that's worth sharing in itself is your first game and how that went, and what did you think of that?
Oh yeah, we could get into that, but that's kind of how I think I got into the sport of hockey, was moving to Nashville, where there was a team that I could actually go and watch consistently, and I'm very invested in Nashville, and just being able to sit down and watch those games, and then talk to people about the games, and then see the players out in the city from time to time is pretty special. It is pretty cool. And I was completely separated from the culture of hockey as well. Like whether it's the lingo or the style or like the attitudes of what happens, but it is 100% up my alley as far as sports go. And I like, if I'm being 100% honest, I love that they can just go out there and brawl. Like it is such a it's like a weird masculine sphere where they're like, no, like this is a full contact sport. It's part of the game. And like when emotions run hot, like sometimes you want to do that. And I genuinely think other sports might benefit a little bit from, taking a note from that. But yeah, I love hockey now, and that's kind of how I got started into it. And now I announce it.
It sounds a little similar to I don't know if you know him, Landon. I know a guy at Burford's about him, Trailer Park Sports Network. No, he's just exploding right now on his socials, especially Instagram. He just hit 50,000 followers, so congrats to him. But he lives right close to where we do in North Alabama, and he got into hockey, I guess, about a year ago at the Four Nations tournament. I think he sat down and watched that, United States and Canada game, and he was like, "What is this? And how have I been missing this,
dude?"
for years.
This is another thing we should talk about. Dude, Four Nations is the best thing to happen to hockey, period. I feel like in my lifetime. And I don't know if that's like fair for me to say, but there is nothing that gets me more hyped than a Four Nations style tournament. Like it just raises the stakes, I think, for like every other game that you watch. I think it is the smartest thing that hockey has done in a very long time, and I hope it continues.
Which it replaced the All-Star game.
Which I think it should.
That was, well, the All-Star game became a circus. It used to kind of be a real thing, but yeah, it became entertainment and circusy and stuff. And
yeah, I just don't think that there's a great incentive. Like, why would you lay your body on the line for like a game that doesn't, for all intents and purposes, other than like funsies, it doesn't really matter. But there are real stakes, it felt like, watching the Four Nations. Like, I could tell every single player there wanted this so bad. It's so good.
Yeah, and then it was. They tried to fix the All-Star game a few times. I think actually the All-Star game in Nashville is the first time they did the 3-on-3 tournament, where I think they put like the separate up into divisions, and each division was a like 3-on-3 team. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Murph, but that helped. And then of course, if you win, I think you won like $1 million prize or something, and so that definitely helped it. But even after doing that for a couple of years, it kind of got stale again. But yeah. I think the Four Nations is the best thing Gary Bettman has ever done. He's the commissioner to the NHL. It's just an immediate hit. And all the hype that's built up going into the Olympics in a month or so. I think everybody's 10 times more excited about the NHL returning to the Olympics now that we've kind of got a little preview of that from last year at the Four Nations tournament.
Well, I'm not a betting guy, but I will almost bet any amount of money I have plus some that Gary Bettman did not think of that.
Well, he's going to get the credit for it, I suppose, but you might be right.
He might have approved it, but he did not think of it.
So, Guy, you've been around hockey longer than us. Everyone seems to hate Gary Bettman. I personally like him because he fought really hard to keep the Preds in Nashville back in the day. They were the owners, I think his name was Craig Leopold, was like going to sell the team off to a guy. He wanted to ship it off somewhere else, maybe to Seattle, if I remember right.
I remember that.
And Gary Bettman was one of the guys fighting hard to keep the team in Nashville because he believed it was a hockey town, and he ended up being right about that 10 years later. But why do people hate Gary Bettman so much? I've always been curious.
I don't know. I think one of the things was he's an American, he's a lawyer, and those are two things Canadians right there. They're probably just rubs him the wrong way. But here's what I'm going to say about the guy. When he shows up, he gets a lot of reaction from the fans. You've never heard booing like you've heard when it's the Raider game. But if the guy was so terrible, he would have got removed. And now he's been there. How many years now, Jacob? I think he's coming on
It's at least 30, right?
30 years of doing this, right? So he's obviously had some success. He's grown the game. The league has expanded under him. So I think he's done some good things there, but that was originally way back when it was Canadian, was the guy was an American and he was a lawyer. That was the two things I didn't like about him. But I think the guy's track record speaks for itself. You know, the game's grown.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't ask questions like this on a live podcast, but do you guys know if the Russians are allowed to play in the Olympics?
Yeah, they're not.
They're not? Okay, so they're just gonna, I guess, kind of be that non-national team.
No, they're not even playing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't they do
Yeah.
that a few years ago where they had like, it wasn't Russia, it was like a non.
It was like a united team, but
Yeah.
Which they won one of the Olympics after. I think they won 2022 or 2018. I think it was 2018. I think Finland won 2022. That was a terrible gold medal. Finland, Germany, and Czechoslovakia was in third. It's like, okay, wow, the Olympics is that.
And I 100% I agree with what Murphy's saying. I mean, you should be able to start at least like a couple wars. You know what I'm saying? And like still be invited to the
It
Olympics.
should be
Like-
played. I mean,
Like it's yeah.
the Olympics is with the world police. Let them play, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know, and if I understand I guess the argument for not including him, but also don't you want a villain to root against if that's your take on it?
Well, that happened in the Olympics.
It's incredibly callous.
They let the Soviet Union play forever, and they were.
I know. Yeah.
They're so. I mean, I know when they banned them for like the blood doping, and I understand that, and the cheating in the Olympics, but to not let Ovechkin play in what would have been his last Olympics, he's the greatest goal scorer statistically in professional hockey history, is the crime to the sport. I think Crosby, it'll be his last Olympics, and Ovechkin should have had a chance to play. I mean, Kucherov, Vasilevsky, Igor Shesterkin, Malkin. I mean, they've got a ton of talent. They would have been battling Canada and Russia. I mean, Canada and the United States for those top three. So I wish they could have played.
Well, you know, in hindsight, that was one of the big criticisms when Jimmy Carter's administration canceled Americans participating in the Olympics in Moscow. And the thing about that I kind of, you're politicizing all sports all of a sudden, right? And those guys have been for 4 years training. Some of them, if you're a sprinter, you're training for 10 seconds of your life, right? And they were denied that. I just thought that was a bad thing. I don't like to mix both of those things together, politics and sports, but I realize it's a tough decision. So,
I don't mind mixing politics and sports because that's also what made the Four Nations last year so much fun, because there was some like political stuff.
It was
going on
51st state.
Canada, and they brought that to the games. And I think it really fired up the Kachuk brothers, because they were booing the national anthem because of whatever's going on. I think was it a tariff thing last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fueled the rivalry. So I don't mind it as much. I think it's fun. I guess, Landon, you think I'm callous? I don't know, but I like Serene.
I think it's fun when it comes to like when it comes to that stuff. I just don't know.
I mean, that was kind of soft.
To be like Russia's the bad guy.
Yeah, you're talking about invading another country.
We're thousands of people.
I mean, I also think because it's in Milan, so as like an EU standpoint, they don't.
Yeah. No, I mean, I totally understand why. I tend to lean more towards like Guy's thing of sports seem to be sort of like an opportunity to have like a pure thing that's separated, and like to Nate's point too, yes, like I think it's it's obviously going to affect the way two countries will feel and look at each other if there's geopolitical events going on. But I think for me, sports are they're an opportunity to escape the trappings of the real world in some meaningful way. It's escapism, entertainment in the best way, I think. And I would prefer that we kind of like leave that as a pure thing rather than bringing that in. But I also get the cheating thing too. You know what I mean? It's like you get caught cheating, and I'm not saying that everybody doesn't cheat. That's not my point here. I'm just saying like they got caught, like, so no, can't do that. Like I get the slap on the wrist.
All right, real quick before we keep going, we want to give a shout out to Underhill Media because honestly, none of this exists without them. Underhill Media is the production company behind everything we do with slapstick hockey, from live events to sports content to real estate video. They're the reasons we're able to show up, hit record, and actually grow. They have a huge focus on social media and audience growth, not just making things look good, but making sure people actually see it. A lot of the growth you've seen with Slapstick and the Bandits Hockey Club is because of Underhill and how they approach content. So if you're a business, a team, or an event and you want a video and social media that actually moves the needle, check out Underhill Media. We'll have everything linked below.
Jacob, did you see the interview with Tkachuk recently after the Four Nations last year? And he said, "Oh yeah, that was my plan. First shift, I'm dropping the gloves."
Yeah, I think they had like a group chat they were talking about it in also. So I think they were trying to set a message, and the fact that the both brothers fought, and then there was a third fight after that. It was like 3 fights within the first minute. I think it was JT Miller that fought Sam Bennett, and Bennett got the better of him. But yeah, that game at Montreal, the first game, they're booing the U.S. anthem. They come out, they fight, they beat them. The U.S. beat Canada in that game, but then when it mattered most in Boston to win it all, Canada, similar to the Crosby 2010 goal with McDavid at OT winner. And I'll tell you, I think Jordan Binnington in that game was, I mean, he played fantastic. He had a stop on Austin Matthews either late in the third or early overtime that they should have won it right there, the U.S.
I think
Binnington makes
comes
say,
back, right? Is that they
Binnington, oh, you got to start him. I mean, he won that whole tournament for him there in that final game, in the same way he showed up for St. Louis in their cup run. I mean, statistically, he's not the best goalie year in, year out, but when it matters most, I mean, Binnington's pretty damn good.
And I think the real story there is Austin Matthews cannot finish. What happened?
He stare and hold. I have heard Nate's rant about this, and it is top 10 rants for sure.
How do you leave Connor McDavid, the top player in the world, alone in the slot?
Yeah,
Like that's your guy. That's your
He
only
barely left him alone too. It was like 2 strides, maybe not even 1.5 strides, and it was just for a second.
yeah,
It was off a
I mean,
face-off,
that's
too, I think, right?
What's that?
Yeah.
We just got back from Aspen. I kind of want to touch on that because, like, what a crazy experience that was. But I guess let's kind of talk about how the year started and how we ended up going to Aspen to cover the NHL Alumni Game. It was, I mean, what a story arc that we went on over the last year. But
Well, Nate, we may have to go back just a wee bit further and just quickly, but just to how we started, right? We started broadcasting beer league hockey games because Nathan was jealous of a new team in the league that had new sweaters and pink visors and really cool second backup uniforms. I mean, these guys were the belle of the ball and their social media. And Nate said, "I just want to get on social media and try and beat these guys." And the element that I think separated us was Nate called up me and Landon and said, "Hey, do you guys want to call beer league hockey games?" And we said, "Sure. We don't really have any standards. That'll be fun." And
I said, Nate, I don't know a lot about hockey, right?
and
And he
still,
said,
some of the
"Don't
greatest
worry."
calls-
Nate said, "Don't worry. Announcing's actually really easy. Anybody can do it."
It's like that term in St. Louis when Landon was taking a break and I was on the mic, and then Nate put on the headset. I said, "Come on up here and you can do it with me." And we started doing it together. And about 10 minutes later, Nate takes his headphones off. He goes, "It's a lot harder than it looks."
nah, it's really hard. I don't know how you guys do it, especially doing it while coming up with jokes. That's very impressive. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah. Well, so we did that, and that was like a couple of years. We'd done a tournament here and there, and Veterans Day game, which was really cool.
Very cool.
Nate, tell them how. Well, we went to a board meeting at the local hockey rink, and there was a guy there named Jeff Winchester. And tell them how that kind of went from there, Nate, because that's kind of a cool little story. I think it was Wyatt Russell that maybe contacted those guys and said, "Hey, if you're doing your hockey thing, you need to get these guys to come out there."
Yeah, so we went to that board meeting. It was North Alabama Hockey Association, I believe is what it is, NAHA.
Yeah.
Because we were wanting to branch out from beer league. We were actually talking to Orion, right, from the Terminators
In Canada.
and Selly Entertainment. Yeah, and he was saying you guys need to get into like minor league hockey and youth hockey and start calling those games. So we actually went to one of those board meetings to talk to them about us potentially covering some youth games, youth tournaments, some of the house league stuff. And while we were there, Jeff, I believe, was on the board at the time, and he remembered us, and he's actually moved out to I think Aspen now, and has joined Colorado Extreme, which is a really cool charity that we can talk about a little bit later. And they're started to. I think they took over the NHL Alumni Game at this outdoor rink in Aspen, and they were like, "Hey, I remember these guys coming to this meeting. Maybe we should ask them to do play-by-play." So he reached out to me, and yeah, that's kind of how it happened. But I think it's wild. It's you don't expect some small interactions to pay off like that, but
Yeah.
Jeff didn't reach out to us because we had success in social media. He reached out to us because he was at that board meeting, and we made some type of impression on him. And I just thought that was really cool. You never really know like what one thing will lead to, and it'll lead to things that you never expected. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I wanted to add those 2 years prior to that, because we probably, I don't know, we maybe did a dozen or 15 games over those 20 or 24 months. But that was kind of, I think we probably polished and gelled a little bit on camera for me and Landon. Some of the funniest things I've ever heard come out of a man's mouth uh, came out of Landon Dixon's mouth, and it was during that first 12-hour hockey game called
No, it's the
The
longest
Longest
game. Yeah.
and that was to raise money for cancer research. And so anybody can play. It starts at 9 in the morning, goes till 9 at night, and so you can play 3 games in a row or one game, come back a couple hours later. Anyways, one of our friends, who's a goalie, Alex Wilson, his son was in this game, and obviously at 10 years old, he was much shorter than everybody. And I made the comment how short this player was, and Landon said, "No, no, no, that's a full-grown man, heavy smoker though." And that line right there, the cigarette in one hand and the stogie in the other, I just died laughing. And that sort of stuff was the humor that I loved about what we got to do. Yes, we're calling hockey, but we weren't like following any kind of script or anything. And then and then we started like Murphy came up and joined us, and we started having other guys that sort of broadcast with us, and kind of settled on this. But yeah, it was the call to Colorado, which was really, really cool. And I'd like to hear some of your guys' impressions about what happened that week, because I thought it was kind of cool to be out there.
I actually didn't think it was cool at all. I didn't have a good time. It was like cold, and I didn't like. No, yeah, no. I think the longest game and the humor side of this is definitely something that not a lot of people are doing out there. But that game in particular is just a testament to what sleep deprivation can make you say. You know what I mean? Like when you're doing something that's like moderately difficult. And for me personally, that uses your brain, I get loopy fast. You know what I mean? I would even say I'm a sprinter. I'm more like a chubby, out of shape 35-year-old at the end of the day, like trying to play sports. Like I don't have a lot in me. But yeah. I think that is definitely the thing that we bring to hockey that so far I've been incredibly surprised at how well it has been received.
It's very funny.
There was definitely a part of me that thought like this was going to be fun just to see my friends, and we would be immediately told that there is no audience for this, and in addition to that, it's actually quite offensive to the sport and you need to leave. And that is not what happened. Actually, people kind of resonated with it, which is pretty fun. And yeah, the opportunity to go to Colorado to do this and sort of rub elbows with the folks that we did, like legit professional athletes, like, is definitely something I never thought that I would be able to do. But also, well, I mean, just what an honor to be thought of for something like that. Like that's crazy to me that they were like, yeah, no, you guys will do great here. Which I think is just very, very hopeful for the future that we continue to get those opportunities, because it is, I don't think it's unappreciated at all, at least from our perspective. And it sounds like from the feedback that we got, it sounds like they really liked what we did. So it's just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Definitely a lot of imposter syndrome from me being there and being like, these guys are cool. I'm not. What am I doing here?
Yeah.
And then Murph killed it. Murph absolutely slayed the day, being solo up there.
Yeah, calling that game was like a fever dream almost, just looking out there. And you being that close to the ice too, it's such a, you were like building that stand, and having been right next to Landon, it kind of felt like being next to a rock. Like, just seeing you there working the camera, it calmed my nerves, and the no guy was across the ice from me. But I don't know, being right there and looking and seeing, Peter Forsberg and Chris Kunitz and Duncan Keith, Lundqvist and Fleury warming up, I was like, what the hell am I doing here? How did this happen? And being from Florida as a kid, I always wanted to play hockey, going back to my first game. My mom was always like, you're going to get hurt. She wouldn't let me play. I think till I was 14, I couldn't play. And I didn't get to see snow till I was 15. And I always wanted to skate on an outdoor rink. So get to call a game on an outdoor rink with legends of the game that I grew up watching. I mean, I really still can't believe it actually happened. And it was a really big honor. And I can't believe, for me, it started, I just DM'd Nate on Instagram, and I was like, hey, man, if you guys ever need a fill-in, let me know. I love what you guys do, because actually, my brother Jimmy is the one who doesn't even live here, doesn't play hockey, is who introduced me to the band. If you saw the refrigerator clip on it, he was like, this is hilarious. And I was like, wait, that's the rink I play at. And then I realized that I'm like, oh my God, this is at our rink, because I was an SOLB. At the time, I was an SOLC guy. I wasn't good enough to play in B. I honestly, like, to find out from my brother Jimmy that he lives in Tampa, Florida, about this operation when I played at the damn rink that you guys are announcing from, shows the reach that you guys had such on an early time scale. And then, yeah, I think Nate invited me. It was the Hellfish Championship game, and I think Landon couldn't make it, and I got to do my first game with Guy, and I happened to be at a wedding the night before, so I had a cigar still in the suit jacket that I wore from last time to keep that as a prop. And, I mean, after that, I had so much fun doing it. And I told him part of the hardest thing calling games with Landon is I just enjoyed listening to them, and, like, to not laugh on air as they're being hilarious, because you kind of are up there and Guy and Landon are riffing, and I'm, it's like, I'm sitting there like a fan, like, I was watching these guys on YouTube. Now I get to stand next to them and call a game. So for me, this whole run I think it was September of 24 till now, I can't believe how much fun it's been. And I'm just honored to be a part of it. So.
And before we wrap up, we also want to talk about Stride Hockey Performance, which is something we're really excited about. Stride is an upcoming hockey fitness app launching in 2026, built for hockey players and hockey parents. The idea is to combine what usually takes multiple apps and put it all in one place. That means meal planning, off-ice workouts, on-ice workouts, grocery lists to support better eating, and smart training that adapts to you over time. It doesn't matter your age or your skill level. Stride is custom built to your ability and designed to help you become the best player you can be. It also integrates with smartwatches so it can track both on and off-ice performance and actually adjust your training based on real data. Stride is launching soon. You can follow along and get updates at Stride Hockey App on Instagram and TikTok. We'll drop the links below so you're ready when it goes live.
Some guy named Ross Lynch was there, and I told my daughter I interviewed him, and she freaked out. She was,
Ross Lynch?
I said, I would say I know.
That, and they were freaking out, and I was like, I've never heard.
Yeah, that was my little sister, and I was like, I got to hold the phone. I didn't even talk to him, but still, he was a good-looking guy. I figured he was somebody.
He's actually, he played a pretty high level of junior hockey too. Like he actually was legitimately good on the ice.
Yeah, he was good.
He was the guy in the game that shot the puck towards me as Landis. The only guy that shot it towards like camera boards, or I thought Landon may go into the emergency room. I was really scared that he had one of those.
Yeah, I will say this: like I was trying to just focus on moving the camera and not worry 100% about most of like the danger that we were in at any particular point. And then that happened, and I realized like, oh, I had a preconceived notion that like I could maybe kind of pay attention to the game enough to like maybe try and dodge or like cover my face if there was a puck, and it hit like the wall near us, and I did not even flinch. I was like, "There's no way that I would have been able to dodge that in any significant fashion." So that was great, you know. But what's hockey without a little bit of danger at the end of the day?
That's right.
Yeah.
That would have been bad. You would have definitely had stitches from that.
Oh yeah, which is what I'm looking for too. I need some cool battle scars, I think.
For those of you who are probably wondering what and who these guys are, Jacob has actually become the legit broadcaster out of the whole group of us. I was just having too much fun laughing at Landon, and because I started out the same way, Jacob. I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep straight. I don't want to break that fourth wall. Blah blah blah. I was like 9 minutes into the first broadcast. I forget what Landon said, and I just said, screw it. I'm just gonna laugh whenever I want to laugh, and that's what I did.
It is long. I think it was the polar bear joke Landon made in the warm-ups.
Yeah, we weren't 5 minutes into the game. He goes, look at the size of that human. It's would have put a polar bear on skates, and then I just lost it.
I mean, I was definitely not. I definitely didn't know what I was allowed to say and what I was not allowed to say, you know, and like how much fun I'm able to like poke at the players versus like not poke at the players and stuff like that. But which also surprised me because this may come as a shock to you guys since you know me personally. But my mouth has gotten me into some problems before in my life, you know, as it would happen. So I'm very used to apologizing for the things that I say. But I was pleasantly surprised with how many people came up after the game or comments that I would read of people totally getting that it's a joke, totally getting that like this is all coming from like a place of like love and respect. And so it kind of, I think, only motivated especially, and I you know, me and Guy to just kind of lean into the oh no, I'm gonna make a fool out of myself up there. Like this, the bit is that I don't know what I'm doing. that's the fun.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I think the other bit that I love, especially when it came to like the, you know, our time with the Bandits, was there's no reason that anyone should be putting this much production value into a beer league hockey tournament or games in Huntsville, Alabama, right? Like there's no reason we should have graphics. You know, like there's no reason we should have an intro with like a waiting time. Like everything about it, I would just giggle to myself.
Yeah, that's what the beauty of it for me was. I've told guys since, you know, we treated this like a real professional game. I won't say NHL because we weren't that quality at all, but you know, we had 3 cameras always going. We had camera operators. We had technical director, which is Nate, with our switchers and internet and live stream and all that kind of stuff, right? But if you're just watching our camera, all you see is me and Landon. And so you think, oh, that there's just shooting with an iPhone or whatever, right? But there was a lot more behind the scenes for that. But that's what I thought also was a little bit of the tongue in cheek in it all, was these guys are way too serious about this and having way too much fun. And I thought, yeah, it was a perfect mix for that. I loved it.
You know, early on, some of my favorite comments, we don't get them as much anymore, but it's just like, why am I watching this? That was a little favorite one. Why, what is this? Is this like, why am I watching men's league with commentary? That I love those comments. Why? I think it's funny too that Murph. I didn't know that. I don't think I knew this. That your first video that you saw of us was the refrigerator. That was
Yeah.
our first viral video. Was that one? It had over 100,000 views, and I freaked out at that because that video I was a little mean with my editing, and I feel bad about it, but I got a little mean with the editing on that one, and then it blew up, and I was like, oh, I feel like I need to go like apologize to this guy and tell him I'm sorry because I probably got him a bunch of attention he didn't want, and I did go and apologize to him, and he said, I don't know what you're talking about, dude.
He didn't. He had no clue what Nathan was talking about.
Sir, how do I put this? I couldn't care less what you do.
I don't know where the line is, but I'm pretty sure I've crossed it several times already. So hopefully it doesn't bother people too much.
Yeah, and I can go more. You know what I'm saying? Like we can go. I can get personal. You know what I mean? Nate, you're muted right now, and this is the funniest thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. You're muted. You're still muted. I can't hear
I
you.
hear him, yeah. I'm sure Nate would love for you to get personal with all the stuff he's had going on at the rink. We'll leave it at that.
Well, I think Landon and I even talked about this one time because we knew Nathan obviously so well. He was sort of our safe space. We could say funnier, maybe even a little bit more cruel things about him because we knew no one could come back at us, right? But that penalty shot that you had, mate, you lost total control of the puck, and somehow it still went in. I was doubled over, and Landon's patting my back, like trying to get me to regain consciousness. I kept saying, I don't know what I just witnessed, but that puck somehow went in the net.
Yeah, no, it's, I mean, I think if you listen to the stream or go back and look at any of the videos, like, I think it's very clear that, that we make much more fun of ourselves than we do any of the players. Which is, like I think that's why I feel very confident when I'm like, make a joke at somebody is like, dude, I am making way more at my own expense. Like I am the jester here. It is not you. I don't know I don't know if the audience knows. I drive like 2.5 hours to get to the rink and then drive 2.5 hours back, like, and work a full-time job. You know what I mean? Like if there's anyone that's getting anybody that's getting the short end of the stick here.
That's 5 hours of driving, not to mention the hour or two at the rink that you can't get that back either. So.
Yeah, that's time, baby. That's time.
You were being paid very handsomely, right?
Oh, dude, that's very true. I'm rolling. That's why I don't have a video camera. It's because I'm doing so well financially that I can afford. I love living the high life over here.
Miller High.
So,
how'd you know what I was drinking? I mean, I'm drinking. I'm doing dry January right now, actually.
Nate, why don't you talk a little bit about what transitioned just before we went out to Colorado, which that was in December, and then a couple months before that, and the Havoc and all of that. Because 2025 was sort of a big year for us in that regard. Right? Things that we weren't looking for that happened.
Yeah, a lot happened. We started the year, me and Murph just went on a campaign because, we kind of stalled out on followers. What were we, like 25,000, I think, a year ago?
Yeah.
Me and Murph were kind of trying to figure out ways to just, kick our pages back into gear. And we did, and we grew close to 50,000 by the summer. And, I mean, really, right around the summertime, we had the Huntsville Havoc reach out to us, and they wanted to talk. And we went, me and Murph and Guy and a couple guys from the Bandits board went to meet with the Havoc, and they were interested in Guy and Murph being their main play-by-play color commentary duo for their Flow Hockey broadcast. So, what did you guys think when you found out the news that they were interested in doing that, and we're making the step from beer league to a pro league?
I was very stressed. I'll just say that quickly. It was like, what did you just get us into? We have
because
no
it's
right
like
doing this.
It's more serious, right? And one of the things that made me feel good at that meeting was they didn't really want us to completely lose our sense of humor, right? Yes, we'll call the game more strict and more straight, which is what Jacob does beautifully. But we both still can kind of go a little bit off script or mention something in the game that was funny, or someone in the stands that's on the jumbotron, and so we still added our personality to it and stuff. But it is a pure straight up broadcast of epic proportions. Like I'm not just saying this because Jacob's here, but he's might be one of the better broadcasters in this whole league.
Yeah, this
And not
guy's got
disparaging
talent.
anybody.
Well, I
He's
appreciate
very
it.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys have actually done the broadcasting, and I haven't, so I get to say this. I am being disparaging towards everybody else. Everybody else is trash. Everybody else can go, they can go kick rocks, as far as I'm concerned. Huntsville has the best announcers in the freaking league, bro. Fight me on it. Fight me on it.
Hey, you're a big guy. I'll take that. I don't think anybody want to fight you. No, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I think getting to do it with Guy is really, really special. I enjoy that a lot. And, from the very beginning doing that, I'm glad we're able to see the Jumbotron because, man, they put some ridiculous things on that Jumbotron. And I let Guy take care of that.
Yeah.
As far as and Guy has done a great job. He started to recognize what fans go there often. And Guy has done way, way better than me as far as making a connection with both the fans and the team. More importantly, like we get to go down and interview them every game. Guy does the interviews. I would be way too scared to ever go do that. But because of what Guy has done, he goes to practices, he built these relationships with both the fan base and the team. They appreciate us as a whole a lot more versus I'm kind of I go up in that cave up there, I lock myself in, and I kind of stress to call the game. Guy does a great job building the relationship with the fans for the two of us, and more importantly, the players and the coach. We've gotten a lot of good tidbits from players and coaches because of the interviews that Guy does. So even though, I'm doing the play-by-play per se, what Guy is doing behind the scenes with the interviews gives us content that allows our broadcast to be, I think, above and beyond what other people are doing because we've got two people and we're both very counts is what we do. So I'm very appreciative of the hard work Guy does for us as well.
Yeah, it's been a great experience, and it's fun to go to the games, and like I said earlier, man, Huntsville is a great hockey town, and those people love their players and they love the game. I mean, it's really, really cool.
It's a very passionate fan base, and I mean they get enough sellouts pretty often. I was kind of joking because my dad has thought the whole time we were just still calling beer league games. Like he thought the Havoc were another beer league deal. No, Dad, is 6,000 games. It's like, oh man, that's a big deal, Jakey. So I still need him to come to a game. But no, I mean, I think the first game me and Guy were doing, and I don't want to speak for Guy, but man, when they were doing the pregame light show and everything and the national anthem, I was so nervous. I was like, this is insane. I mean, they do such a big production pregame where you're like, all right, this is legit here. This is not 10:30 rink 2 on the curling circle with the Zamboni driver missing spots on the ice. This is real now. So it's been a lot of fun.
Well, fellas, I think that's probably a good place to leave it. We are, I guess, hockey influencers now. Would you guys like to plug your channels?
Yeah, follow me at www.bananahammock.com. That's where I post all my important stuff. I've got pictures of me in very, very exposed positions. It's a great place to go and just see what I'm up to.
It's like your first speech in my class, Landon. You had the banana hammock going.
He was wearing one?
Yep.
For the audience at home, you're going to have to tune into episode 2 to figure out what we meant by that. I am not going to talk about it on this one.
That's great.
All right, fellas, we'll just see. Do we want to do a sign off? What do we do, Guy? We keep your sticks on the ice? What do we say?
Yeah.
What's our thing?
I can't remember. Well, definitely go ahead and follow us on all our social media at Slapstick Hockey. We're going to try to come out with new episodes every month, so be tuned down for that. They should be on all of your favorite podcasting platforms, so we're going to try to get on Apple and Spotify. This will go on the YouTube channel as well, but
Lord have mercy.
just keep it in sight that this was our first episode, and it is our worst one. We're only going to get better, so if you like this episode, good news, it's going to be even better next time. If you didn't like this episode,
It's the worst one. Give us a shot. We're gonna do
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, no, we're definitely going to do more of these. This isn't the only one that we're going to do. We're not going to abandon this project at all. I think this is going to be very successful. I think we're going to be up there with like Tiger Belly and Joe Rogan. You know what I mean? Like the big hitters. So just stay tuned, folks. Stay tuned. Like, follow, subscribe. Kiss me on the mouth.